Hey folks, we're here in New Hampshire today. We're going to be talking about two subcompacts, the venerable Glock 26, which has been around for a number of years, proven itself excellent carry gun, and also the newer version of the Smith & Wesson M&P compact. Both guns that I have here, the 26 and the M&P 9C, are in 9mm. So we're going to shoot them here and give you a chance to see a little bit of the differences in terms of the way they function, or at least the way I feel they function in terms of felt recoil, accuracy, ergonomics. We'll also give you some sense of accuracy, although have to keep in mind that accuracy is somewhat dependent on the shooter. So any of the accuracy, my position on both these guns is they're very accurate for what they're designed to do, but any variance in accuracy really has more to do with the shooter. So anyway, we should have some fun with this. I'm going to be shooting both at some steel, but also I've got a cardboard down there with a couple of pieces of fluorescent tape that'll give you some sense, and I'll use those as an aiming point, and we'll look at it as we shoot this gun. I'm going to be using a fairly standard 115 grain American Eagle ammunition, just so we have a side-by-side comparison, and then give some sense of my subjective feeling as far as felt recoil and how the guns operate. Thank you. We're going to start first. M&P. This is the M&P 9mm. This particular one was set up, it's a Massachusetts compliant gun, so it has a really crappy trigger in my opinion. Although I did have the rapid assist mechanism, a reset assist mechanism from Apex installed. So that certainly helps give it a more distinct feel, but this compared to the Glock 26, which has a 3.5 pound connector, in that it's a significant difference in felt feel as it relates to actual trigger control, which has a great deal to do, of course, with accuracy. So from this distance, it appears that there's a, I don't know, maybe a 2-inch, maybe a 3-inch ultimate spread. Again, this is a brand new gun, a new used gun, but I've not shot it at all enough to really be confident with the accuracy, and the trigger, again, is really pretty miserable. So I'll zoom in and give you a sight picture on that. Again, not necessarily fair because the trigger is that horrible trigger, and I have not shot this particular gun as much as I've shot the 26. So if the accuracy associated with the 26 looks significantly different, blame the shooter, not the gun. And now we're going to essentially do the same drill. I'm just slow fire, trying to put the rounds as close to the same hole as possible. In this case, Glock 26, significantly different trigger because it has a 3.5 pound connector, and in my opinion, a much better reset. Although the ergonomics are, in my opinion, not as good as the Smith. Okay, so we're going to zoom in on that, but basically you've got a much tighter group. But again, the trigger and the fact that this is a 3.5 pound trigger versus this mass compliant trigger, which is god-awful, I don't know, 8 pounds or something dreadful. Also a very consistent reset on the Glock, and that's one of the reasons many people like them. In fairness to the Smith, I've shot this one thousands of rounds. I've shot the Smith just a few. So I recognize that it's not in any way, shape, or form a knock on the Smith & Wesson M&P 9C. So let's take a quick look at that now, and we'll compare the two different targets. Okay, so what you have here is you have that top group, which I'll zoom out and give you a sense. This is the Glock, so again, very good accuracy. Again, 5 meters, not a significant distance, not a particularly difficult thing to do, but very accurate. Now, if we look down at the Smith and Wesson group, I'm sorry, a little bit lower here, you can see that that's a larger group. However, we've got a much tougher trigger to manage there, and I'm not as familiar. So I am now going to shoot another group on that, and we'll see if we can, the shooter can improve his skills. Again, nothing against the M&P. So we're going to give it another shot and see if we can tighten up that group a little bit. Did a little bit better. In this case, I moved, and I'll actually zoom in and show you, but I moved to the left side of that highlighted strip there, and it's a much tighter group. Not quite as good as the Glock, but again, certainly more than enough than you need for combat accuracy, and certainly for what this gun is designed and intended to do. So let's take a look at that. Okay, so on the left half of this, you can see I've got a nice 4 or 5 shot group right toward the bottom of that, and then a couple others a little bit higher, but a much tighter group than the 10 shots to the right side, which were my first grouping. So again, good accuracy, not as tight a group as the Glock, but again, fairness to the Glock, I'm a much better, more seasoned shooter with that particular gun, and the trigger is significantly better, which makes all the difference in the world. One other advantage with both the Glock 26 and the M&P compact is you can use full-size magazines. So in this case, I have the 17-round mag that's designed for their full-size guns, and you can see that what I actually have here is I have the magazine extending beyond the base of the base plate of the gun, but that's okay. I have fairly small hands, that is not a problem. So I'm going to fire a few rounds at some of the steel down there, and again, just to give you some sense of what the gun looks like in terms of its movement and muzzle rise, muzzle flip. So let's take a look at that. Now the side shot showing you the recoil, muzzle flip, again, very, very modest, and using the full-size magazine in this case. And we'll just shoot 4 or 5 rounds just to give you a sense of the recoil, and then we'll also do the same with the Glock 26. Again, very little felt recoil. Great ergonomics of this gun. Again, I have small hands, and because of my small hands, the difference in the ability to swap out the back strap and give the gun a better fit in my hand is a huge advantage for me. Also, people with larger hands can put the large back strap on and get more of the right angle and the trigger distance for their hands. So that is one huge advantage to the Smith. So let's try some shots from the side now with the Glock 26. So now that same drill with the Glock 26. In this case, I'm actually using a Glock 19 15-round magazine. I just have 10 rounds in it. But the nice thing about the Glock 26 is it will take any other Glock magazine for 9mm. So whether it's the 33 round mag, the 17, or in this case a 15 round magazine, that provides, in my opinion, a real advantage. The Smith & Wesson compact will do the same, but I really like that design. It's a great feature. You can carry a compact gun, in this case a 26, and have a full-size 17 round magazine as your spare mag, which is really a great thing to do as well. Now it's purely subjective, but I feel there is more muzzle flip with the Glock. And again, it's purely subjective. And I love this gun, but as I'm shooting quick shots, I feel the gun is coming up a lot more than it does with the Smith. Now from a slightly different angle, this is the Smith & Wesson 9C. Got a couple of steel plates out here. There you have it. Great little compact. Now that, I don't know, 4th or 5th round in there, this is, those were one of my reloads. And so one good thing about reloading is you often get a little practice of malfunction drills, and you saw in that case I got some practice there. That one definitely didn't work. There you have it. Okay, we just did a drill with the Smith & Wesson. We're now shooting the Glock 26. I do have the extended or full-size magazine, in this case 15 round. I actually only have 9 or 10 rounds loaded in there. But I just want to give you the same perspective that we just saw a moment ago with the Smith & Wesson. So again, from my perspective, there is more muzzle flip with this gun, and it feels snappier. Same round, 115 grain rounds that we've been shooting earlier, and that we just shot with the M&P. But from a felt recoil standpoint, although the trigger on this gun is significantly better, that gun is easier for me, again, for me, subjective only, with my small hands to actually manage that recoil, get faster hits on target and more consistently. So hopefully this perspective will assist you. Again, I recommend both pistols. They're outstanding. I'm a huge Glock fan. I own more than a few, and they're outstanding. Absolutely love them. At the same time, I am rapidly becoming a convert of the Smith & Wesson M&P series. These are just from my perspective as a guy who likes to shoot a lot. These are just fabulous, fabulous. So you can't go wrong with either of these makes, and hopefully you'll go out, if you don't own one, purchase 1 or 2 of each, and a few for your friends and family. Thanks a lot.